at the recreation ground. Before we bring in our special guest summariser, the former Whitehaven player, assistant coach and current Kells head coach Peter Smith, will run through your Derby Day lineups once more, starting with your visitors, the Barrow Raiders.
Cheers, Jordan. So starting in at fullback then, it's Luke Cresswell. 5 tries for him this season makes him the current Raiders top try scorer. On one side we've got a former Cumbrian, I get my words jumbled up here, Andy Bullman alongside Curtis Tier, with Luke Broadbent and T. Ritson on the other side. Brad Walker partners up alongside Ryan Johnston, with Joe Bullock, Josh Wood and Tom Walker. Ellis Robson partners up alongside Matt Costello in the second rows, and Ryan King returns to his old club, starting today as loose forward. Aidan Doolan, Jared Stack, Greg Richards and Charlie Emsley make up the bench, with Stevie Watson being the 18th player today.
Just the 5 former Whitehaven players in the Barrow Raiders starting lineup this afternoon. Never mind your match day 18, the starting lineup. 5 former Haven players inside for Paul Crady's side this afternoon. For the current Whitehaven side, they have Cole Walker-Taylor in at fullback, Jay Weatherall and Dave Eccleston on the wings, Mitchell Todd and Ethan Bickerdike in the centres. It's a half-back partnership of Kieran Walker and Jack Newbegin. Starting props, Jake Pearce, Jordan Thompson, Alison Holgate all packed down at hooker. Second rows are Connor Holliday and Rio McQuiston. Jack Kellett in at loose forward. On the interchange bench, Mark Shackley, Brad Brennan, Ellis Nixon and Lewis Brown. The 18th man, if needed this afternoon for Whitehaven, is Liam Williamson. 2 staff left to right from our position here in the main stand. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online, Jordan Weir, Dan Payne, Peter Smith. We are underway. Cole Walker-Taylor with the kickoff, and the Raiders will fetch the ball forward.
Taken well already in that corner. That corner was a big issue as well before kickoff. That was where there's been a little bit of flooding, and they've had the rollers on it, they've had the inspections on it, and it seems to be good to go. So we are underway here. It is West versus South, Cumbrian Derby Day number 2 of the season. Just 3 weeks into this championship campaign as well for Barrow. Currently undefeated, looking to extend their run at the top of the table this afternoon. And it's Ryan King returning to the recreation ground, but this time in Barrow Raiders colours. He takes Barrow up towards the 30-metre mark, still inside the own half now as the ball gets shifted once again. Big tackle that time made on the former Super League man Joe Bullock. As Barrow trying to push up towards the halfway now, bring it down this left hand side with Ryan Johnson, who's dinged that one over the top. It'll be interesting to see how this ball, if it lands. It's been selected by Ritson. Ritson has eventually aimed for this left hand corner, didn't get the offload away. Barrow still continue with Ryan Johnson then. Johnson moving towards this right hand side now. It's a long pass all the way over. He's going to shift from one side to the other. Curtis Tier looking towards a corner. Can he stretch over the line? He can get over the line. First minute, first attack, first try. Barrow take an early lead. It's Whitehaven 0, Raiders 4.
Yes, it looks like it's a bit ominous here now. The first set of 6, there was a good kick from Ryan Johnson. He put the ball up there, and T. Ritson, he just left his opposite number. He just left him there, and he picked the ball up, and really it should have been a score from there. But from the resultant tackle, they moved the ball from left to right. I think it was Curtis T. that managed to get over in the far corner. So that the first set of 6 is it's quite ominous really on this side. So first blood to Barrow.
I think I was trying to watch the bounce of that ball from Ryan Johnson there, but it seemed to hold up all right in this left-hand corner. I think it's more right on the very far left touch line, if you will, but it held up well, and Ritson was there to collect it and started off that play.
Dave Eccleston stayed in the line. He stayed a bit deeper initially, hadn't he, Pete? And then he came up in the line, and then that turn of pace, it was like men against boys. T. Ritson went past him like he wasn't even there, was able to collect the ball. That was still only the 4th tackle. He was brought down, and then Raiders have just shifted it. Whitehaven not able to recover fast enough, and Raiders find themselves in the right-hand side corner just 70 seconds on the clock, Pete.
Yeah, that will give them, great confidence especially in these conditions. But it's down to Whitehaven now just to, try and slow the ruck down and get a few numbers in the tackle. And obviously nobody wants to score off nobody wants to get scored against on the first set of 6. But that's what's happened today, and they've got to knuckle down now.
They certainly have Whitehaven. Brad Walker lining up the conversion, 22 metres on the straight. Take it away, Dan Payne.
Yeah, he's done well with the boot so far this season. There was a few people surprised not to see the likes of Ryan Johnson, but I think Brad Walker's done a good job over the last few years, and once again he's going to attempt this one from the far side. Looks like he likes it from that end. He does like it. It's a great kick. It's another massive 2 points on the board for the Raiders. Just over 2 minutes on the clock now. It's Whitehaven 0, Barrow Raiders 6. Absolutely cracking start for any Raiders fans that are tuning in.
For any Raiders fans, but for any Whitehaven fans, absolute nightmare. Surely the message from Anthony Woody needed to be keep this tight in the opening 20 minutes. They've conceded in less than 2.
Yeah, it's down to this set of 6 now that they can do and give them a bit of confidence and, try and restrict the Barrow's progress and try and stop them from, probably getting to the halfway line. But as I say, it's mud sapping on this day.
Once again, Whitehaven kicking off deep towards that left-hand side. Raiders collect it well. I imagine we're going to see lots of forwards getting involved in the action this afternoon. Maybe down that right-hand edge as well, John. I think from our position, it's obviously right in front of us. This edge looks awful. The far side a little bit different.
It doesn't look as bad on that far side, does it? I mean, we come down, just after 12 o'clock, there was a lot of standing water, and where the players have been coming on off the field, it's pretty much been dissipated, but it looks like horses have been out there.
It really does. Raiders now then shifting this one quickly across to Robson on this left-hand side as we look at it here. Raiders now on the 40-metre mark with Josh Wood. Pops that one off to another old Whitehaven favourite of Tom Walker. Cumbrian trio, of course, for him. As Raiders now on that last tackle, just off the halfway mark. Get this one out again to Ryan Johnson, who's grubbered that wrong along the floor. Chasing it down, now taken well by Whitehaven and Eccleston, and now Whitehaven get position back.
Yeah, Dave Eccleston's collected that around about 25 metres away from his own line. Cole Walker-Taylor dived in a dummy half, then Mitchell Todd looking to be the man to fetch it forward. He's brought down sort of 31, 32 metres away from his own line in at centre field, and it's now into Jay Weatherall's hands, who's come off the opposite wing to try and help his side forward here, ensure the forwards haven't got to get through a lot of work in the early stages. Around 4.5 minutes on the clock as Jake Pierce brought down by his opposite number, Tom Walker. The Raiders defensive line speed really trying to get on top here, but Hall gets scooted from dummy half before slipping in the conditions and falling down just short of halfway. It is the 5 and last. Walker-Taylor kicks from dummy half, but it's going to be right down the throat of Luke Cresswell. We heard the thoughts of Anthony Murray in the background. I don't think you'll have picked that up, but we could certainly hear it from here. Let's just say it wasn't played.
Luke Cresswell on appearance number 178 for the Barrow stalwart. No doubt he'll be loving to hit that 200 milestone this season. As Raiders now pushing up towards the 30 once more, still leading this game by 6 points to nil. That try in the opening minute, in the opening set from Curtis Tier, going over for his second of the season, is now another Whitehaven man in Broadbent, another man that's done all 3 Cumbrian teams as well.
Young H as well to do the ball in, wasn't he, when he completed it?
Now it's going to be another early kick in the set, this time from Brad Walker. That one has stopped dead on the surface, on the 10-metre mark as well, collected well by Whitehaven.
On a dry afternoon, that potentially goes for the 40-20. It looks like it had the right angle on it, but obviously in this soft surface here at the recreation ground, Dampage, it was like a splat rather than anything else. It's second tackle now. That ball's come out of that tackle, has it? And he's been judged to have lost it as Ethan Bickerdike. There was 2 Raiders defenders in there, but judge and referee judge neither of them involved, and it's just a clean drop by the centre, Ethan Bickerdike. Around 6 minutes gone here at the recreation ground, and Whitehaven at the moment, Pete, just haven't been at the races.
Not really, no. I mean, there's been 2 carbon copy sets of 6 from Barrow, and they've put them in the same area. This one went to the opposite side, and Whitehaven have spilled the lollies, as they say, from this side, and he's put the pressure back on them.
Scrum down, heading feed to the Raiders. Brad Walker will feed it. Raiders will start these 25 metres out.
He's going to come out the scrum towards the left-hand side to Ryan Johnston. Out the back to Cresswell. Cresswell's trying to find Ritson in support, but he's covered well in the attack by no fewer than 2 Whitehaven defenders there as the Barrow now then. Still within 20 metres. Pop that one off to Robson. A man who's looking to better last season's try-scoring tally of 7 tries. As now Josh Wood gets this one out to Johnston once more, who pops that one off to Walker. It's going to be Tom Walker driving towards the post now. Raiders still within 10 metres, and it's 6 back again. To 1. The referee, Mr. Williams, indicates 6 again. It's a prime opportunity for Barrow to go over for their second try inside the opening 10 minutes here. Out towards this right-hand side now, where Joe Bullock, will he use his strength and his power? Will he force his way over the line? No, he's going to be held up. Great defence that time from the home team.
Ryan King just snaking around there. He dived in a dummy half, hadn't he, Pete? And he was waiting to see what Whitehaven had done. He was waiting to see whether that defensive line snapped towards him and give him the opportunity to go over the line.
Ryan Johnson takes it when he steps around now. Raiders looking for the offload away. The kicks come through. Ritson's chasing it down. The ball has stopped dead. Sorry to jump in there on you, Pete, but I thought they were going to go in for close for the second one.
Yeah, sorry, Dan. I was just going to say, Ryan Johnson's at the forefront of everything that Barrow do there, and there's just been a high tackle that sort of took the heat off Whitehaven for the time being.
Yeah, high shot there on the Whitehaven man, Dave Eccleston. and just puts all that pressure that Barrow were putting on Whitehaven and have put on Whitehaven in this sort of opening 8 minutes or so. All cleared, and Whitehaven now have an opportunity to clear the lines. Cole Walker-Taylor with ball in hand.
Is he going to make touch? Oh!
Yeah, so it's going to be, he'd come off the hands of T. Ritson before going over the line, so it should be a tap in centre field for Whitehaven, unless they elect just to take that tap sort of 20 metres out. So, yeah, so no, they get the option to play the ball.
He was fortunate there. Ritson was so close to intercepting that ball, keeping it alive.
We might say that once or twice this afternoon. These balls, if it isn't one that's swap maybe quite regular, it might get a bit wet, it gets a bit muddy out there, just doesn't go as far. Whitehaven fortunate on that one. Jack Kellett plays the ball on what is essentially zero tackle. Jake Pearce is the man brought down 41 metres away from his own line, 9 short of halfway. Holgate goes left, couple of pairs of hands now before finding Kieran Walker, who just pops it up then into the hands of Ethan Bickerdike, and the centre travels his way backwards before being brought down a metre short of halfway, and he's took a knock in that tackle as Ethan Bickerdike is going to get up, he'll play the ball. Holgate once again in there at dummy half, gets the offload away into the hands then of Newbegin, and into the hands now of Conor Holliday. Whitehaven have took themselves over halfway, brought down now 40 metres away from the Raiders line, 20 in from this near side grandstand touchline, into the hands now of Newbegin. They'll find Jordan Thompson, and Thompson's brought down Josh Wood. It's going to be difficult to tell who's who in this next sort of 5 minutes. Into the hands now of Walker. Walker looks to put the kick in behind, and it's going to be Jay Weatherall on that side. And, fantastic. I was just about to say, fantastic bravery from Luke Cresswell. Jay Weatherall put the kick in. He looked to kick it forward. Not able to collect it was the Raiders fullback. Unlucky for the Raiders fullback, but it means it'll be scrummed down head and feet to Whitehaven 10 metres out.
Yeah, very brave of Luke Cresswell there, just to get down. I mean, won't be the first time that he's put his body on the line for a ball from there, but you know he did really well under the attacking players from Whitehaven, which just put that ball through there, just with a bit of different.
So we'll be scrummed down head and feet to Whitehaven, 10 metres out, centre field, attacking the railway end in this first half of Whitehaven. Scrum fed, comes right into the hands of Newbegin, then finds Mitchell Todd. In at the centres this afternoon is Mitchell Todd, taken down 3-4 metres out. Newbegin in there at dummy half, finds Holgate. Down nearly through the gap there is Alison Holgate, just brought down a metre short. The Whitehaven man's dived in a dummy half. It's Collie Holliday, he's trying to get over sell over from dummy half. He must only be half a metre away, if that, as he's brought down, screaming for it on the left hand edge of Whitehaven. Into the hands now of Jake Pearce, but fantastic line speed, actually too fast from Josh Wood, and Whitehaven will have another set of 6. Whitehaven had an acre of space on that left hand side.
Yeah, it's just the difficultness with the balls, like throwing a medicine ball out on a day like this with how heavy the pitch is. So you've got to give yourself another extra yard, half a yard to get the ball once it's coming to you, so you can readjust.
Jake Pearce fetches the ball up to the right hand side of the post. Holgate just sort of stuck in the mud there, gets the ball away to Newbegin. Looks to get the ball over the top. No, he gets it out. There's got an overlap of Whitehaven, but Kieran Walker has to come back inside and eventually take the tackle. Whitehaven knocking on the door. They won't have too many better opportunities to start where they've did in this game. Into the hands now of Jordan Thompson, and Thompson's nearly through the gap, but he's brought down just to the left hand side of the post. Into the hands now of Kellett. Whitehaven trying to focus on these middle areas potentially before shifting the ball. Comes right now, Thompson into the hands of Conor Holliday on his 200th career appearance. Forward pass. Looked it from here, and the referee Adam Williams agrees. Forward pass into the hands of Conor Holliday, who actually looked to have been brought down short anyway, so it was great defence from the Raiders. Just short of 12 minutes gone, still 6-0 in favour of the visitors.
It was a great flat pass, that, wasn't it? It was a great line. They set it up well. They were patient in the middle of the park there. It was just unfortunate that the pass went forward, because that looked like a given for Holliday to go over the line. It's going to be a scrum down now, head and feed to the Raiders, but just like Peter was saying there, it's not going to get any easier. I love that medicine ball. It's going to turn out like that, isn't it?
It certainly is. Scrum down, head and feet to the Raiders. Ball goes right.
So Raiders now then back on the attack with try scorer in the first minute, Curtis Tia. He's brought down just past that 10 metre mark. It'll be interesting now then to see where the Raiders are going to try and get them all in their field position from. There's not too much you can do. You can't really throw the ball around in conditions like this. So it's going to be 1 up, 2 up rugby possibly. T. Ritson cuts in, tries to find a bit of space there. Seems like a lot of the attack is being directed towards that right-hand side, where I imagine the pitch will be in a slightly better condition as Raiders now move up past the 40. That's a good offload away to Luke Cresswell. Luke Cresswell is going to try and kick that one over the top. It's going to come back and Cresswell's going to collect that one.
Cole Walker-Taylor's played it. I'm not too sure on that. But it means Raiders do get another set of 6 and continue to attack down that right-hand side.
Still moving down that right-hand side with that fresh set, like Jordan just said there, and now they are within 20 metres of that Whitehaven line. On that far right-hand side now. Slowly playing that ball back in towards the middle. Once again, angling the runs towards that right-hand corner. Setting up some shape now on this left side. They've got heavy numbers. Let's see if the ball does come across. It falls to Walker through the hands of King. As Ryan Johnson drummers that one through towards the line. It's going to be collected well though, and I think that was the wrong option there for Barrow.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson potentially gone too early with that kick. They had numbers on the left hand side, but Whitehaven are going to be forced to do some hard, heavy yards here at the recreation ground as Mitchell Todd will get up and play the ball. That will be second tackle. Jordan Thompson now trying to help his side forward, calling for a high tackle on Jordan Thompson. I don't think he played that correctly. I think he might have got away with that one. Dave Eccleston is going to fetch it forward. Fourth tackle on Whitehaven, what are only 14 metres away from their own line. They've come down this short side. They've gone Holiday, lost up on contact. Raiders have collected and they're on the attack once again.
Yeah, I think Barrow making the most of these horrible conditions at the moment, and we're still not even 15 minutes played now. I believe that's Robson that does collect the ball. These
I wonder if both sides have brought a change of kit. They're going to change at half time. They might have to at this rate.
They might need to indeed, as Ryan King now. How much would he love a try on his return to Whitehaven this afternoon as Raiders off that 10 metre mark. Josh Wood in the middle of the field looks towards his right hand side. Fast hands here, still moving the ball towards that right hand edge. Eventually it's going to be Luke Cresswell that takes the tackle inside of 10 metres. Once again, the Raiders setting something up towards this left-hand corner. Will they get the ball across, or are they going to go for the forwards and just aim it towards them posts? Again, tackle complete, right in front of the sticks. Options available for Josh Wood now. He goes towards his left side. Johnson tries to cover it through. He collects the ball. Ryan Johnston, he collects his own kick, and it's going to be try number 2 for Barrow here. We've got 15 minutes on the clock. Ryan Johnston extends the Raiders' lead. It's now Whitehaven 0, Barrow Raiders 10.
Yeah, you said before about maybe he kicked too early, but really with Barrow's defence, they're absolutely smashing Whitehaven and they're struggling. And you know the defence they put in, I mean, it created for Conor Holiday to drop the ball, and you know, and Ryan Johnson's just done a good footwork close to the line there off a kick. He picked up his own kick, and he went over quite easy. So you know, Barrow's doing well, you know, with the ball, taking the early kicks, as we've said, and the defence is just going back into Whitehaven and hitting them hard.
You could say the defence is looking a little bit at 6 and 7s at the moment, Jordan. We've got children, we have to do it.
No, we don't. We don't. We just don't, Dan. But Whitehaven's defence not able to recover sort of fast enough from when that Johnson kick went through. He was fortunate it come back to him, because he put the kick through, it ricocheted off a Whitehaven man. Another 6 again potentially could have been given, but he was able to react fast enough as Ryan Johnson, sidestep left, get around the fullback and put the ball down. On another day, that bounces in Whitehaven hands and it comes away, and we're saying now it's a poor decision. It just shows you a bounce of a rugby league ball, even on such a softer surface like this, can make all the difference. Yeah,
as I said, I mean, you know, it's gonna hurt Whitehaven a bit there. They're looking a bit draggled there at the Kells end. So, you know, really, you know, they've come away with plus their they're completing the sets, and that Barrow a little bit more than what Whitehaven are. So in the end, you know, that'll take its toll.
Another successful conversion for Brad Walker. Another 2 points on the board for Barrow. It's now Whitehaven 0, Barrow Raiders 12. And I was just watching one of the ball boys in front of us here with the ball there. It looks more like an Easter egg than it does a rugby ball right now. There's not one bit of white on that ball at all.
Yeah, tell you what, I don't fancy being the kit men once they get this kit back to their respective, obviously Whitehaven here. I don't fancy being the kit men to try and get this clean. Absolutely not. It's going to be an awful job. 17.5 on the clock. Whitehaven will kick off once more through Cole Walker-Taylor. Raiders will collect through Brad Walker.
Once again, starting off, it's almost like as you were every single set at the moment for the Raiders. Deep in that left-hand corner, pop the ball off to Joe Bullock with almost 150 Super League games under his belt. I'm sure he'll be loving these sort of conditions today, as once again the Raiders keeping the direction of the play down on that right hand side up towards the 30-metre mark now. Then as Curtis Tier, another good carry that time, tackled just shy of the 40. As Raiders now, they're moving this ball once again using some fast hands in the middle of the park. It comes all the way across. Eventually the tackle is made on Broadbent, and you can hear the slop in the surface right in front of us here. I'm surprised there's enough surface to play that ball there, as now Ellis Robson moves inside the Whitehaven half. It's going to be last tackle indicated by Adam Williams. Josh Wood goes out towards Johnson on the short side. He's going to grubber it through, aiming towards touch. Will it find touch? It just trickles over. The surface was doing the best it could to slow that ball down, but Ryan Johnson found a good line. Whitehaven get possession back just inside their own 10.
Yeah, as I was saying before, you know, Barrow of they're making easy yards from the half back there. I mean, as I was saying, Ryan Johnson, he's putting the kicks in. He's not getting pressured. You know, it's down to Whitehaven from them. But as I say, it sounded ominous with the first try going there, and you know they need to clamp down on that and stop the major yardage that Barrow's getting on them.
Jay Weber was the man to fetch it forward on the first tackle. It's now into the hands then of Ethan Biggie, finding it tough going potentially over the horizontal. There was Ethan Biggie, maybe too close to the ground. Referee Adam Williams felt it was safe enough, but it's into the hands now of Cole Walker-Taylor, looking to go down that short side. First time they've got a real fast play the ball of Whitehaven in the last few minutes. He's brought down 35 away from his own line. Walker now into the hands of Keller, out the back to Newbegin. Both sides have continued to look to play despite the conditions when the opportunity has arisen. Connor Holliday's taken down there on his own 40. Jack Newbegin just outside of his own 40, but he will get it behind Andy Bowman on that side, but it just splats, takes a backspin, and Bowman's able to collect it before fetching it forward.
There was absolutely no carry was there on that ball from that kick. It is just fell dead on the surface. Bowman's collected it, and now Raiders going to start just in front of their own 30-metre mark. But yeah, I think it's going to be tricky from this position for Whitehaven to try and get anything. I mean, albeit 20 minutes on the clock and just 12 points of difference, it's just you can't play too much rugby when it's like this. It's just the Raiders pack are just far more experienced. There's far more strength in there, and as you can see over the first 20 minutes, it's definitely been paying off. A lot of the play has been going down that right hand side where they've been moving now with Curtis Tier. Curtis Tier moves inside the Whitehaven half, just past the Whitehaven 40-metre mark, as Josh Wood gets that one out to Walker. Long ball out towards King. King dummies, takes a run himself. He's trying to shrug off a few of his old teammates, but now it's fifth and last tackle. Barrow on the 30. No doubt Ryan Johnston once again is going to be heading this one towards this left-hand corner. This time he's gone for height rather than on the floor. Taken extremely well though. Whitehaven get possession back. Fantastic take by Cole Walker-Taylor. I have to say he's looked like he struggled in the opening games under the high ball. Rose the highest there, did the Whitehaven fullback, took it well, and is able to get himself on the front foot. But it is now what will be the third tackle when Jay Weverall is brought down after this. But he's done well to make as many metres there as he has as the Whitehaven winger. Brought down 30 metres away from his own line. Whitehaven need a penalty, they need a 6 again, they need something just to try and clear this halfway line. The Raiders defence really on top at this moment in time. 32-33 metres away into the hands now of Jordan Thompson. Found a little bit of a gap, that will be the 5 and last, but he's 8 short of halfway. Into the hands now of Jack Newbegin. Newbegin will look to get the kick in behind. It's behind T. Ritson. Ritson's got some work to do here. Travelled a little bit once it's hit the ground, brought it away from 9 metres away from his own line. Once again though, we see another Whitehaven set at the end, still inside their own half. It's just really struggling to get some distance at the moment. Well, at least we're going to be able to tell who he is when he comes onto the field. Yeah. Brad Bredden getting ready to come on for Whitehaven, and obviously in the cleanest shirt, as you'll see at the recreation ground this afternoon. He certainly has. The one-time Barrow Raiders player, Brad Brennan, will be coming onto the pitch shortly, and I'm sure he'd love to have a go on this surface. How many minutes he'll get as Greg Richards, I was told he might have some longer minutes this afternoon before he comes on, before his 3-match ban is underway, as Raiders now still struggling to make some ground here inside their own 40. Good defence by Whitehaven. Offload away to Joe Bullock. Hint of forward there as well, not seen by the officials. It's now 5th and last. Raiders on the halfway, going down that right hand side once more. Walker's opted for the run rather than the kick. They got the offload away. It's eventually fell to Curtis T, who's going to be tackled on the Whitehaven 30. Good defence there from Whitehaven, but Raiders going for the power play on the last. Right option, Pete?
Well, again, there's no right, no wrongs on a day like this. As long as they can keep the ball moving, and as I say, that's when they went with the early kick before and in trying to restrict Whitehaven. Now Whitehaven's aim now is to try and get in the half of Barrow and try and put a bit more pressure on, with the ball. But obviously they're not. But maybe with this now, with the penalty the referees gave it, it might be.
Penalty for Whitehaven. The Raiders pinned for offside as we've just ticked in to the 24th minute. Jordan Thompson didn't look the happiest he might be when he's just left the field there. Cole Walker-Taylor, I'll tell you what,
he's flirting with that touchline.
He really is. He's got as many metres on as possible. Probably realises that's what's needed this afternoon, but it's nearly caught him in trouble on a couple of occasions there. But Whitehaven will start 28 metres away from the Raiders line here, and it's into the hands now of Newbeck, and he'll get it across to Jack Kellett. Kellett will take it down 21 metres away from the Raiders line. And the cleanest man out there at the moment, Brad Brennan. I thought it was going to him, but it's gone out the back instead. A couple of pairs of hands into the hands now of Ethan Bickerdike, and Bickerdike will look to step inside, and Whitehaven are within 10 now of this Barrow Raiders line. 12-0 to the Raiders, about 24 minutes gone here at the recreation ground. Whitehaven swing it back across now. It's into the hands of Jake Pearce, and Pearce is going to find his front, but he's 7 metres out? I'm guessing, because that's how muddy it is out there. Into the hands now of Brad Brennan. He's going to try and spin out the tackle. He's the former Raiders prop forward. Can he get the arm free? Can he get his ball down? He stopped short of the line. It's going to come right now into the hands of Kieran Walker. And Walker steps back to sort of where the ball came from. Not the best option from the Whitehaven halfback, but it is the 5 and last to the left-hand side of the post. Holgate's going to go himself for a little kick in behind. There it is. Luke Cresswell, can they force him behind the goal line? They can, and Whitehaven have forced a goal line dropout. Ryan Johnson saying, sir, his elbow was down. Should it potentially have been a penalty?
Well, the referee's there, and he's the guy that makes the call, so I mean, doesn't matter what Ryan Johnson's saying, anybody else is saying there. The referee's deemed it as he was tackled over the line, so it's the first bit of pressure that Whitehaven's put, apart from the time when I think it was Connor Holliday nearly went through before.
Oh, that is shocking. It's been fortunate it's gone 30 metres, but it's been a p-roller, was that goal line dropout. Newbeck collected, found Jake Pearce. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to put any sort of kicks in this afternoon, never mind a dropout, but goes left, couple of pairs of hands. There he's now, Brad Brennan, and he's not going to stay clean for much longer, he's Brad Brennan, and there he's going to be taken down 11 metres out. Holgate in there at dummy half, will go left, into the hands then of Walker, finds a couple of pairs of hands, found Cole Walker-Taylor, found then Ethan Bickerdike. They're trying to get him over the touchline on that far side are the Raiders, but he stays in the field of play. McQuiston dives in a dummy half, finds Kieran Walker. It's really difficult to get a steady footing out there and try and play. It's into the hands of Kellett. Kellett's taken down 10-ish metres out. Holgate goes himself from dummy half. Aidan Doolan getting ready to come on for the Raiders down below us. It's the 5 and last. One more for the visitors to survive here. Kellett's diving a dummy half. He looks to get the kick in behind, and it's going to be kicked behind by Brad Walker. Holgate was sniffing but realised he might have been offside, stayed away from it, and now the third consecutive set for Whitehaven.
Yeah, that's what you normally get sometimes when you put a couple of back-to-back sets and you get them over the line. Sometimes on the third one you can score it, so it's good pressure on this time from Whitehaven. They seem to have found their rhythm.
These kicks that are coming through as well, they're a nightmare, not just for the defenders but even for the attackers. We don't know when the ball's going to stop, if it's going to carry on. Nobody really knows, do they? So it's almost like a 50-50 attempt every time these kicks come through.
Looks to be a Raiders man needing some treatment. Dan, I was about to say your eyes are better than mine, but they're not. But you might be able to recognise who it is across the mud on that far side. Is it...
Good luck. I mean...
I'm going to go with...
He's gone for the short one.
Gone for the short one. It hasn't gone 10... Yeah, it hasn't gone 10. So that is Whitehaven's fourth penalty of the afternoon. Do you know what? I don't mind that. I think in these conditions, I don't mind it, but it just hasn't come off for the Raiders. So Whitehaven will start 10 metres out with a tap. It's in the hands of Ellison Holgate.
Well, this is the third set now that they're around, and hopefully they can try and get over the line. But as I said, this is the third set I was going on about.
Brennan plays it. Comes right, couple of pairs of hands now into the hands of Newbeggin, then finds Connor Holliday. Cole Walker-Taylor looking to get in support, but taken down is Holliday. Jake Pearce, former Waff Brown man, short of the line but only just. Whitehaven trying to find some numbers, some gaps somewhere, and it's been dropped by Ellison Holgate. I think they've pinned the Raiders for offside instead.
Wow.
It's a penalty count somehow in the favour of 5-0 for Whitehaven, just short of 27.5 on the clock. They need to make this pressure pay, Pete.
Yeah, of course they do. I mean, again, if they could just maybe stand back another yard when they're going to move the ball, and then they can readjust the ball when they get it. But as I say, it's real heavy for both teams.
Whitehaven play the ball. It's into the hands of Brad Brennan. I was about to say a knock on, but it was more just a knock because he hit his chest and splattered on the ground and didn't go forward, but he's lost it. All the pressure that Whitehaven's put on, they're not being able to take it off, and to be fair, that's probably been the sort of story of Whitehaven season so far. They haven't scored that many points, Pete, and I think we may be starting to see why, even despite the tough conditions out there.
Well, that was the chance there to maybe get some points on the board. I mean, just unfortunate from Brad Brennan. It bounced off his chest, and it's give Barrow the advantage. They can clear the line there now. So Barrow's 3/4 lines will be getting in, the wingers and the fullback going to be taking some ball, just taking a bit of heat off the forwards.
Be interesting to see how they go now, though. Defending 5 sets inside their own 20 in these conditions, heavy legs. A few changes being made now as Charlie Emsley comes onto the field alongside Aidan Doolan. It's going to be Josh Wood coming off, as well as, we can't see unless he's sliding across the mud. It'd be Joe Bullock coming off now. Can you tell because of the size of the guy?
Just about. It's the only reason we can tell who it is.
But yeah, Aidan Doolan has definitely got possession now, and Charlie Emsley is definitely going to line this one up. Who else is getting onto that ball? Then our guess is as well. Your guess is as good as ours, should I say, as Raiders now they're moving up towards the halfway line with Ryan King. It is the 5th and last tackle. Doolan spreads that one out to Johnson, who once again has gone for height, testing the Whitehaven fullback in these treacherous conditions. He did extremely well to take that possession.
Yeah, Cole Walker-Taylor's took it, and then now seeing the introducing of Mark Shackley in Lewis Brown, Jack Kellett and Connor Holliday. It looks like, is it being brought off? No, not Connor Holliday, it's Jake Pearce. Connor Holliday has come close to the touchline, which I thought why initially it might have been him, but they'll continue to fetch his ball forward. Now I know that's Lewis Brown. Do you know I know that? He's the cleanest man on the field.
Give it a tackle, we'll be able to tell.
He's been up to stay on his feet there, so he'll still clean it for a little bit longer, but the sort of pass from Holgate to Newbegin standing a little bit too wide at Whitehaven. They're not trying to keep it narrow, and they maybe struggled once or twice in trying to on the attack here, Pete.
They're just trying to get a bit of advantage. That's all they're trying to do, Jordan. Obviously they're over the halfway line there now, but when they seem to panic a little bit with just little errors that creep into the game.
Kieran Walker puts the kick in. Luke Cresswell's going to allow that to go behind him, so he'll collect this sort of 5 metres away. The Whitehaven defensive line is there. The Raiders fullback taken away 10 metres away from his own line.
I think the way we've just seen that ball move towards that left-hand side, I think that probably explains why a lot of the attack has been down that side of the field so far. As it stands, it's probably the only part that's got any kind of speed on it at the moment. We'll give it another 20 minutes and I suppose that will completely go out of action as well. But Raiders in the meantime are still trying to move this one towards this left-hand side as we look at it here from our commentary position. The scoreline still remains Whitehaven 0, Barrow Raiders 12, trying the first minute from Curtis T. The ball has now been lost in that attack. Whitehaven are going to get possession back. Ellis Robson has just lost the ball in the challenge, and possession goes back to them on the 30. Yeah,
that's probably come from them 5 sets. A bit of fatigue's creeping in there with Ellis Robson, and I mean obviously it was nothing really. Just as he hit the floor, he spilled the ball out there, and it's Whitehaven's turn now to try and get some points on the board.
They're going to start 30 metres out of Whitehaven. They'll all have the scrum down, head and feed, elected to go centre field. Doesn't matter where you go, let's be honest, it's going to be muddy. But later on, if they've come down, you might see them start to take it to one side of the field and try and take it out the mud. But will it make a difference? Scrum down, head and feed at the moment. Centre field comes now left into the hands then of Kieran Walker and into the hands of Bickerdike. You can see Cole Walker-Taylor's trying to get there, but I just think the mud is slowing him down. He's not just getting there in the speed that he wants normally. Into the hands now of Brad Brennan, and Brennan tries to spin out the tackle. There's 4 Raiders defenders around him before eventually being brought down. 12-ish metres out, I'd say. Into the hands of Newbegin. He had to bend his back for it. Into the hands of Lewis Brown. He's lost it, as he is Lewis Brown. I think they're trying to say it was stripped. There is Jack Newbegin, but referee Adam Williams, I'm expecting him just to make the signal here, scrum down, head and feed to the Barrow Raiders. Otherwise you'd expect it being a penalty, as there was more than one Raiders man in the tackle. So lost it there has Lewis Brown, and when Whitehaven have got close to the line, they struggle, Pete. Obviously the conditions have played the part, they've lost it a couple of times, but I said it a few minutes ago, they just seem to have struggled, got close to the line.
Yeah, Ellison Holgate, I mean, he's known for his service from that half-back, and he's been guilty of it a couple of times there. Obviously you can understand why, you know, with the conditions, but you know, it's who masters them is going to come out top on this game.
So Raiders now then back on the attack as Jared Stack comes onto the field for Ryan King. He comes off for a rest. He's putting a big shift in the middle, as he always does. As the Italian Aussie, as now Raiders on the 20-metre mark. Slowly back up to the feet. Tiredness definitely creeping in here as Charlie Emsley takes that one. Drives the Raiders up towards that 30-metre mark again. Sticking down on that right-hand side. Ryan Johnson looking for I think potentially a 40-20 attempt from deep downfield, but
potentially a 20. No, he's not even a 20-40. So yeah, a bit of a strange one that from Ryan Johnson, but maybe just trying to find meters and give his side a chance to not defend on their line as they have done for the last sort of 5 or 6 minutes. And Mitchell Todd will now be the man, second tackle to bring Whitehaven forward as he's taken down 8 metres away from half of the halfway line. Into the hands now of McQuiston, and McQuiston will take Whitehaven over that halfway line. Whitehaven's goal forward has progressively got better throughout the contest. It's into the hands now of Brad Brennan, and Brennan trying yet again to take his side forward. He's got his arm free, it bounces. He's given a 6 again.
It's a knock on.
I don't think he's realised that there was 2 Whitehaven players going for that. I think he thought it was a contest between a Raiders man. Oh, then we're all in, we're swinging. That's Andrew Bullman gone. Based on last week, he's just swung a punch there as Andrew Bullman. And Charlie Emsley's getting involved, pushing Jay Weber all the way. Them two just having a laugh. No doubt, I'm sure them two probably work together more than anything else, which is why them two are laughing at each other. Typical Cumbrian derby, of course, and everyone knows each other. But yeah, that just seemed to go off. And initially, with the 6 again that was given, I think all 3 of us will agree incorrectly.
Well, two of them went for 2 of the Whitehaven players went for the ball, and there was a definite knock on from there. And the referee said play on, but I mean, I think he's got it wrong there. I think he needs to consult with his linesman.
Yeah, I think we can all agree, Dante. That should have been Barrow Raiders' ball, but 6 again came. Then one of the men that was going for it was Ellison Holgate, and all fairness to Ellison, he's caked up in mud. So whether he thought it was a Raiders man, but you can still see white and the blue shorts. Yeah, so Adam Williams has eventually stopped the clock. We make it just over 5 minutes to go to the half-time hooter. It'd be interesting to see from this one. Obviously, we've seen something similar around about this time in the Knights game on last Saturday evening. We've seen red. There was more, I'd say, swings on that occasion than there was on that occasion, but we've seen it in the last couple of games. The last game for the Raiders.
Well, he's having a good talk now with Matty Bolton, the touch judge. He's going to call. Is he going into his pocket here?
He's calling Brad Walker out as the captain. Is Brad Walker?
Yeah. Ryan Johnston's the captain.
So he's calling Brad Walker out.
Which is, we thought it was Bullman that was involved there.
But he was.
So let's see what happened.
And then he's
calling over the captain.
He's calling over Ryan Johnson. And then he's going to call over Connor Holliday. So the fact he's called Brad Walker out first, it means any infringement, you think it's going to come penalty for Whitehaven.
They're going to put it on report, whatever, because if they're unsure of not seeing what's going on, I'm sure there was a couple of punches swung, but obviously they'll see it with the video later on if it goes to the disciplinary.
It hasn't even gone on report, Pete. Hasn't even gone on report.
Well, he must be sure.
He must be sure nothing is connected, which I thought Andrew Bowman did. I'll watch it back, and if I'm wrong, Andy, I will apologise. I'll apologise now, absolutely. But yeah, after all that, scrum down, head and feed Whitehaven, when it should have been scrum down, head and feed to the Barrow Raiders, Dan Penn.
Yeah, well, it's going to be an interesting final 5 minutes of this first half now, isn't it?
I'll tell you what's going to be even more interesting, this first carry. You wouldn't want to take this first carry up, let's say that. Scrum down, head and feed to Whitehaven, 42 metres out from the Raiders line. It's fed now, comes left, it's into the hands of Kieran Walker. Walker then get it out the back to call Walker Taylor, and Walker Taylor steps back inside, and they're trying to push the former Waff Brown man back. He's 38 metres away from his own line, and he's struggling there. He's called Walker Taylor, and we've got another stoppage. It's the Whitehaven fullback. He's literally stuck in the mud down there,
quite literally
on the ground, and the Whitehaven physio Jason will go and keep keep a check on him. Hopefully nothing too serious for the Whitehaven man. While we've got a stoppage in place, shall we run through some scores elsewhere around Rugby League this afternoon? Into the Super League, just the one game. Castleford 6, Wigan 0, Batley 12, Doncaster 12, Newcastle 16, Dewsbury 8, Rochdale 0, Keighley 0, Salford 6, Hunslet 6, Workington 6, Widnes 12 in that one. So
good going for Workington.
Some quite tight games in and around Rugby League this afternoon. You'd imagine many pitches are looking fairly like they are out there.
You don't get nothing like a Cumbrian pitch though, Jordan, do you?
No.
The weather hits quite differently around these parts.
You drove up in it this morning.
I know. I went through all the seasons, I think, on the way up today. Yeah.
I'm telling you now, you won't have gone through summer. You definitely haven't gone through all of them.
We had blue sky when we arrived, so that's something.
So Cole Walker-Taylor has got the OK and will get up and play the ball into the hands then of Kieran Walker, into the hands now of Brad Brennan. No longer the cleanest man out on the field is Brad Brennan. Plays it, comes right now into the hands of Jack Newbegin, takes it to the line before finding Kieran Walker. Now into the hands then, short pass to Connor Holiday, and Holiday looks to try and keep his legs pumping, and there's 3 there in Barrow Raiders colours that'll take him down. 22 metres out, into the hands now of Mark Shackley, who's absolutely chuffed when he's seen Jared Stack arrive up today, because he realised he wasn't going to be the oldest man on the field, was Mark Shackley. But he plays the ball now, goes left, into the hands then of Newbegin, into the hands of Brad Brennan, not safely into the hands of Brad Brennan, knock on. And you could probably pick up what Anthony Murray has said there. That was broadcastable. There you go. You might have just picked it up again. It was not just happy, let's say, was the Whitehaven head coach Peter Smith.
Well, there's a couple come from there. That's what I was saying. You know, they need to have a bit more composure when they're coming close to the line. He just seems to be a bit too fast, if we can say that on these conditions. But you know, they need to get hold of the ball a bit more and just finish off with a bit more positive.
Well, they've had the chances time and time again within that 10, 15, 20 metre mark of Whitehaven, and still yet to get over the line. So it's Barrow back in possession now then, as we're moving into the final 3.5 minutes of this first half here, where the scoreline still stays at Whitehaven 0, Barrow Raiders 12, and 2 tries in the opening 15 minutes, both successfully converted by Brad Walker. And I don't think we're going to get that many more points really. I mean, it might open up in the second half when the heavy legs kick in, but they can't really play too much rugby at the moment, so it's just waiting for that line break, waiting for that field position to come from a penalty.
If we get a similar penalty count in the second half, you might see it Whitehaven currently 5-0 in favour of the penalty count. If that continues, maybe, but the kick has come in and it's going to be collected by Dave Eccleston with under 3 minutes to go as we make it in the first half here at the recreation ground. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online, as Dave Eccleston, he'll get up, he'll play the ball, he'll go left then into the hands of Cole Walker-Taylor, showing no ill effects, and his former Wath Brown teammate Curtis Tier, who leads the line to fetch him down alongside Brad Walker. And yet again Whitehaven struggling in that dummy half decision. It was McQuiston who was in there, and it is a one-on-one strip, and the Raiders have the ball back. Whitehaven, their own worst enemy, with ball in hand so far this afternoon.
Seen that a few times now, and it's just like holding a ball of jelly on the floor for some of these players. It's just popped out of the hands straight into the chest of Curtis Tier. Raiders back in possession with inside the 30 metre mark, and now it's 6 again as well.
Drop goal.
I thought you're joking, aren't you? Find a piece of ground that might be able to take the bounce, possibly, but them sort of spaces are few and far between at the moment. And as Raiders moving through the hands once again, it's felt Ellis Robson, who almost got through, but he's tackled at the last moment, just a few metres shy of the Whitehaven line now, as Doolan spreads this one across to the right hand side. Raiders looking to get the offload away. Tackle complete. Find themselves just to the left hand side of the post now, and Doolan, he just hesitated there. I don't know if it was a hesitation or he was trying to juggle possession of the ball, but ultimately it's been spilled. You can't blame the guys when it's like this.
You can. No, but I mean, I only say it because of the hesitation.
Yeah.
If he knew what he was going to do, that probably wouldn't have happened there.
Well, I can't tell if he hesitated or was he trying to grip it.
No idea.
Yeah.
Pete, obviously you keep an eye on the stats. What's the completion rates looking like roughly? Obviously I can see you've got them as any side being guilty of being probably dropping too much ball.
Well, Barrows, they're on top in the completion rate, as you can expect. I mean, Whitehaven's had a good few more. I'd say Barrows running at about 90%, and Whitehaven probably at about 75. So you know, that's the difference in games like this when it's real heavy.
Conor Holiday trying to now fetch Whitehaven forward. The captain taken down 25 metres out. Into the hands now of Jack Newbegin from the dummy half position. Goes into the hands now of Walker. Goes into the hands of McQuiston, and McQuiston is going to try and break through, but Jared Stack and a couple of others have got in there. Brad Walker involved to stop the former Miller man. Into the hands now of Mark Shackley. Took a couple of efforts that he did Cole Walker Taylor before picking the ball up, before finding the Whitehaven prop forward, wanting something from that tackle there was Mark Shackley. Holgate scooted from dummy half. It's now the 5 and last on halfway. And Whitehaven going for it, into the hands of Holiday, into the hands now of Mitchell Todd, and looking to get the ball back inside to Conor Holiday, and it's going to be put down. And I'm expecting the hooter to go any second now, and we're on go into the half-time break.
Yeah, I think it was a good option that time from Whitehaven. Obviously the pitch is just getting more and more ripped up. There goes the half-time hooter, so why not give it a go? They are going to be chasing this one. They're going to be struggling to find any points, never mind 12 to just bring it level. It's going to be an interesting second half.
Welcome back to the recreation ground, BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. Second half about to get underway. Both sides have just re-emerged. Whitehaven 0, Barrow Raiders 12. And let's just say, I think we said a few years ago, Dan, it was soft to heavy in places. It's just heavy out there.
It's awful, isn't it? You know, we think back and we look at some of the highlights over the years and we watch this game, you know, and we talk about these drop goal finishes that we've seen twice. I can assure you there will be no drop goals on this surface this afternoon. But I mean, if Whitehaven, they just need to be more clinical when they get in them areas, and it might be a different second half, but we'll soon see.
We are underway. Holgate will find Brad Brennan. Mark Shackley was the first man to fetch the ball forward as Brennan now plays this. Holgate's in there at dummy half, into the hands then of Kieran Walker, and now finds Rio McQuiston, and he'll keep his legs pumping, will the second row, before being brought down 40 metres away from his own line, 10 short of halfway, back towards the middle now with Walker. Who'll find Brad Brennan, and always looking to get that arm three is Brad Brennan. Perhaps not the conditions to do so this afternoon, but he'll always give it a try. Comes left now into the hands of Walker. He'll go for the early kick, trying to get it in, and he does get it in behind Andy Bowman and Luke Cresswell. Jay Weatherall's on the chase. Cresswell collects, and he's going to find a Whitehaven wall of defence, 4 defenders in front of him.
Just them little 1% things there as Cresswell was leaning down to take the ball. His right foot almost went from underneath him, and it's them little things that could change the whole outlook of this second half. But luckily for Barrow and for Luke Cresswell, he did manage to collect the ball. Now the referee isn't too happy with something he's seen there.
I think it was slow on the play, the ball down. That's what I was saying. I mean, there wasn't many of it in the first half, but as I said, I think the referee's just he's blew the whistle on the play. The ball wasn't too quick enough.
I was not catching that.
No, neither was I.
So it's going to be his foul touch just off the 40 metre mark. So Curtis Tier.
Andrew Bowman not happy with the ball he was offered. I'm not surprised if that one you remarked as an Easter egg earlier on, and is waiting for the other ball to come back onto the field.
I mean, the ball that's come onto the field looks very similar. It
was the same one that was kicked off.
So Raiders on the halfway line and shifting this one towards this left edge once more with Ellis Robson, who's trying to get some pace over them. Stuart T. Ritson will prefer this side, or that side of the field should we say, for this second half. And again, try to get that ball over to him, going down the short side as now tackle is complete just off the 30 metre mark. Second half action here. Still remains Whitehaven 0, Raiders 12 as Manny Costello goes through, plays a forward pass to Ryan Johnson, not being seen, he kicks it over the top, the ball was stopped dead, it's been collected at the back. Surely that must have been a forward pass.
Well, you'd have thought so.
I mean, we're behind the play the ball as we look at it, and that looked forward, and the referee was right on it. Maybe we're wrong, the referee was right, but nevertheless play continues, forcing a dropout.
Yeah, we're going to stoppage in play, as well as Whitehaven just take their time to get behind the try line to get the goal line drop out. Cole Walker Taylor comes in with the goal line drop out. I'll tell you what, might see a drop goal just yet. He's
done all right there. Yeah, there's not too much decent surface to get a bounce for that dropout, but he's done well to hoof it downfield all up towards the 40 metre mark. That first run from the Raiders takes them down towards the 20, and once again running through the hands of Manny Costello, who looks to have moved into the forwards now from that second row position as Jared Stack moves out it seems, into the second row. Raiders now then moving it towards the left-hand side of the post once more. Aidan Doolan taking the tackle that time. Raiders now within just a few metres, looking for that quick play of the ball. It comes out towards Charlie Emsley. Tackle complete, just a few metres shy once again. Can the Raiders start this second half similar to how they started the first half and get some early points on the board and kill this one off? As Walker looks around for his options now, he dinks that one through. He's going to stop dead. Jared Stack was stretching out for that one, and once again it's going to be kicked left. It's going to be another drop goal. Yeah,
that's probably the best option to score the try here, because obviously it's real heavy now. It's getting even worse than it was on the first 15 minutes of the half, which you can expect. I mean, and plus I had the completion rates at Barrow in the first half around about 80%, and Whitehaven was struggling on 47. So that's probably going to take its toll in the end up.
So Raiders now then, similar drop out to the first one, collect the ball, take the run up, tackled just off the 20, still moving towards that left side. There's no ground anywhere now, which is nice to run at, so they're just going to pick whatever options are available to them as Doolan opts towards this left hand side with Broadbent trying to jiggle his way through, where he's eventually stopped just a few metres shy of the line. Raiders still looking for their third try of the afternoon and looking to put this game to bed in this second half. As now Ryan Johnston, great flat ball over to Greg Richards. Richards gets over the line. He's going to be held up, is he? Well, he's going to be short of the line. So there's a quick play of the ball, running into the markers, diving over the line. That's a third try of the afternoon for the Raiders. That one should be enough to kill off this Cumbrian derby, and it's now Barrow Raiders 16, Whitehaven 0.
Who scored that?
Oh, good luck.
I was expecting you to go, yeah, it's such and such.
Potentially Costello. It's that hard to figure out who is who at the moment.
Yeah, all right, fair dues. Pete, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was a great pass from Brad Walker from there that more or less set up the try, and what had happened from there, it was just a simple just dive over from acting half-back, and really that's probably put the cap on the game there. So it's Whitehaven looking all sorts of sixes and sevens behind the sticks there, and they don't want to seem to be going on what went on in the first half. So it's a nail in the coffin, really.
You were right, Dan. According to the Barrow bench, Matty Costello is the man that looks to have dived in from dummy half, but let's be honest, it could have been one of about 7, because we've got no idea. But yeah, we're first on the Barrow bench just in front of us here at the recreation ground. Plenty of Raiders fans in contingent as well, it seems, as Brad Walker adds the extras. 3 from 3 is the halfback just into the 47th minute. 18-0 to the Raiders.
Yeah, 35 minutes to go now, and like we've seen in that, I mean, that is the difference right there. Whitehaven in that first half had 5 sets in a very similar position. Raiders have had 2, and they've gone over to the right hand side of the post, and I think that's the difference at the moment. That's just the levels that these two clubs are at. That's no disrespect meaning to Whitehaven, but that's just the reality of it at the moment. And I mean, I think Whitehaven now, they may need to change tactically how they approach the final half an hour or so of this game. As tricky as it may be, they've got to try something a little bit different. Do you think, Pete?
Well, can they really? I mean, obviously with the injuries they've got and the clientele. I mean, we mentioned on the start of the game, he's got sort of 4 forwards on the bench, and it's good defence there from Whitehaven.
Great defence from Whitehaven. They've forced Charlie Emsley back 10-15 metres there.
Yeah, they've done well there, but I mean, they need the next 5 tackles to be the same.
If they can't make up for it in attack, then defensively they've got to pin the Raiders down here and wait for that mistake, because the mistakes will come. The ball will come loose. Someone will drop it. Somebody will spill the ball. And that's all that Whitehaven need, because if they've got, again, 3 men in the tackle against Costello, they're doing the right thing here, Whitehaven, but they know that if they're going to take anything from this match, they need to get this, and they need to get this right.
But someone's going to ask, and I'll ask the question, where's that been for the last 47 minutes?
Well, yeah.
Someone's going to ask the question.
I mean, it's like Peter mentioned earlier on, though. It's like playing rugby with a medicine ball. Your feet are going to get heavy in these conditions. They've had that half-time break. Is that going to make the difference for them? Feeling a little bit fresher. And now it's getting feisty on that far side. No, it's Broadbent. Would you expect anything less in a Cumbrian derby?
He didn't actually do anything wrong in terms of, he went in behind the man and he looked to the referee to give himself up, and the referee told him to play on, and Whitehaven, the fans especially on that side, and a couple in the shirts out there as well, certainly weren't happy with that. But kick has come forward. It was collected by Jay Weatherall. He's just played the ball now and into the hands of Ethan Bickerdike, and they're going to turn the Raiders. And he's lost that there. It's Ethan Bickerdike. Anything that Whitehaven can do, the Raiders can do better. They've forced the error. Scrum down, head and feet to the Raiders. They will be 35 or so metres out.
Yeah, you mentioned before, Dan, about them little, 5%ers that you do there, and I mean that's just one of them there. Taking the ball out in yardage and trying to make some yards, and they're forgetting to lock the ball up tight just so they can get into the next tackle. So really, that's putting pressure back on themselves, and with a knock on the second tackle.
So the scoreline remains Whitehaven 0, Barrow 18. And now it's the Raiders with that scrum down on the 40-metre mark as Walker puts the ball in. It comes out towards this left side where he's got straight away. Ryan Johnson's going to look for the kick over the top. It hasn't quite paid off. Whitehaven have regained possession, but again, Raiders trying something a little bit different.
Right, okay.
Sorry, Joe, they're going to make a lot more yards, as we said in the first half. They're going to make a lot more yards from kicking the ball, really, and they're just trying to catch Whitehaven unaware. But on this occasion, the kick wasn't good enough.
It worked in the early stages in the first half, didn't it? That's where the first try had come from. But Raiders now guilty of slowing the penalty. They play the ball down too much. Whitehaven have a penalty there first of the second half, and now Jack Newbigin gets the ball in hand and finds Brad Brennan. There's 4 Barrow Raiders defenders interested in him before being taken down 41 metres away from the Raiders line. Holgate's in there at dummy half. He slips and gets the ball away into the hands of Connor Holliday, and then he's going to be put down onto his back. He's the Whitehaven captain, celebrating his 200th career appearance, all in Whitehaven colours this afternoon. Comes along the line now into the hands then of Lewis Brown, and Brown finds his front. There's no markers in there. Holgate in there at dummy half.
Oh dear.
Looking for Mark Shackley was Ellison Holgate. He hasn't had his finest game as Ellison Holgate this afternoon. Ball's hit the ground and the Raiders have it back.
He almost did everything right until the pass there, didn't he? And now again they've got to rush it a little bit. They've got to pick up the pace here, but they've got to be perfect, especially in them areas if they're going to get anything from this fixture this afternoon. And at the moment it's all running in favour of the Raiders as they are moving up towards the 40-metre mark with Charlie Emsley. The sun. Told you we're going to get a little bit of summer, Jordan. All 4 seasons in a day. Up towards the halfway mark now then, as the sun just beams down into our position here, which is that's miles forward.
Wow.
That was about a week forward, that one, and it's not being seen by any of the officials.
We're coming back for the penalty. Oh.
Well. There's forward and there's that.
There's forward and then there's Tom Brady. Pete?
There was yesterday in the rugby union game where, I mean, they've got the thing now, if his hands go forward, it's a forward pass. If the ball goes forward, it's a forward pass. Simple as that.
Well, I think that maybe just eliminates the not seen knock-on error possibly in the first half, but that was as blatant as they come.
I know there's even and up down here, but come on. Honestly.
It was right on line with us, wasn't it? I mean, that's where it was. So, I mean, that's what makes it even worse. And they get the kick to put a bit more pressure on Whitehaven.
Yeah, it's rubbing salt in the wounds for the Whitehaven team and fans as well this afternoon as the kick finds the 30-metre mark now then in favour of the Raiders, with Richards. He's trying to carry that through with one hand. Dangerous there from the former Super League man, as Doolan now takes a run at the markers and he's brought down just shy of the 20-ish. There is no line at all on the surface, so we're just guesstimating whereabouts they are standing now. Jared Stack looking for his first try since August of 2024. Takes Raiders to within 15. Shifting that ball once again towards that far left-hand side. The ball has come loose, it's gone back, it's been collected. It's eventually fell to the hands of Luke Cresswell. Cresswell pops that one off to Charlie Emsley. Stack was running alongside him, waiting for the ball. Didn't receive the pass. Tackle is complete. Raiders once again, Ryan Johnson goes over the top. Ryan Johnson chasing down his own kick. That's a superb try from the Raiders, number 7, back into the team this afternoon. The captain, delightful. Raiders 22, Whitehaven 0.
Yeah, an opportunity try there from Ryan Johnson. He's just saying the fullback wasn't at home there, so he just chipped the ball over, and he had no problem at all, just picked it up and rolling over and putting the ball down under 6 for a definite 6-pointer.
Second of the afternoon, he's second of the season for Ryan Johnson, and it wasn't all she wrote earlier on with the first try on the second half from Matty Costello. That certainly is all she wrote now. Brad Walker going to be right in front of the sticks to take this and should make it 24 points to nil.
I can't help but laugh. We need to get a picture of Charlie Emsley here, Jordan. We'll have to put this online just to give the people an idea that are listening at home the state of these players and how tricky it is in our position to do commentary. If it wasn't for his blondie gingery locks, I don't think we'd be able to tell that was Charlie Emsley that comes off to the field. It's absolutely caked from neck to toe in mud, to the point you can't even see the sponsors or the numbers on the shirt anymore.
Yeah,
they
the
have gone.
The sponsor will be asking for a refund this afternoon, won't they?
So it's going to be a simple conversion. The Raiders fans over on that far side, they are making their voices heard, aren't they, this afternoon? Plenty of travelling up on the train journey. Another simple conversion. The 100% record in this match continues for Brad Walker. That's 4 from 4. 24 on the board for Barrow. Whitehaven 0, Barrow 24.
Substitutes brought on by Anthony Murray, Jack Kellett and Ellis Nixon have replaced Brad Brennan and Lewis Brown, and we have a winner for the cleanest man of the afternoon award. Again, Ellis Nixon is now the new recipient of that one. I don't imagine it'll stay that way much longer for Ellis Nixon, but we've just about 55 minutes gone in this one. Haven 0, Raiders 24. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online.
Talking about the form guide as well earlier on there, you're saying that Whitehaven have been struggling for points this season. In the first 3 games so far of the Championship, the Raiders just conceded the 1 try, and that was against Salford. I think that's going to show defensively again this afternoon. Barrow now then, back on the attack once more with Tom Walker. Again, a former Whitehaven man, of course, takes the Raiders team up towards the 20-metre mark, and he's lost the ball there as he was trying to get up into position. I think he's trying to claim. He's not too happy with that one, and Walker has just lost his temper there. It was a shake of the head from a former teammate. He came back, giving him a shove.
I would say former teammate, but there's actually only one former teammate out there in Connor Holiday, and it wasn't him.
To be fair.
So, yeah, in all fairness, but it was Ellis Nixon. We'd able to tell it was Ellis Nixon because it was the cleanest man on the field, and it is a penalty for Whitehaven. A bit of a silly thing to do when you're 24-0 up, Pete. I know he's wound him up, but just keep your head, man.
Well, exactly. We've been 24-0 up, and really all they've got to do is just play it at their pace, which they've been doing, and you know it's been very effective on this day. But you know, Whitehaven's been guilty of not looking after the ball.
You stand there, because then that means I can see. Good lad, well done.
Yeah.
But Jack Kellett's the man that's been taken down. Hall gets in there at dummy half, into the hands then in Newbegging. I say into the hands, he fumbled it a couple of times. He got it away to Cole Walker-Taylor. Just heard the groans maybe from the popular side on the far side. You haven't got how it affects Mike in operation this afternoon because there's 3 of us here, but yeah, you could maybe just pick up the groans coming from that far side. Ellis Nixon's now the man to take it forward, sort of 20-ish metres out, I'm going to say. Newbegging comes left now into the hands of Kieran Walker, pops it up to Jack Kellett, calls of a forward pass. Well, if that wasn't forward, that certainly wasn't forward. So Whitehaven do start to continue to roll on here within 12 metres, go right into the hands then of Newbegging. Will find Connor Holiday, is it on that far side? He's tried to step back inside as Connor Holiday. He's the 5 and last, and going to try and put the kick in from dummy half. Is that a fresh set of 6? Still the 5, says referee Adam Williams. Newbegging looks to get the kick away, and then he's kicked forward. It was by Kieran Walker on the ground. Brad Walker's the man. They pick it up and they're going to try and force the Raiders half back here. That was rather messy at the end of the set, Peter Smith.
Yeah, a bit rushed, and as I said, to compound it now, they'll give a penalty away. So you know they're adding insult to injury, but really they've had no real structure to the game this second half or first half to a point.
Catch it.
No chance. That can bounce.
Catch it.
Nope. I'm going to let that ball bounce. Thank you very much. Was it true, Jordan, you were saying the first half there that Whitehaven didn't concede any penalties, and this half they've got a couple in already?
We've got a stoppage. I believe I've seen the doctor earlier on having a conversation with the safety officer. I think we might have a medical issue within the ground that the doctor is having to go and see too. So we could be in for quite a lengthy stoppage here at the recreation ground.
Or is it in the crowd?
It's in the popular side. I'm not going to point out too much, but there seems to be a medical emergency in the ground. So we've got a stoppage. All the physios are going to go and attend to that. We'll have a bit of a discussion about the second half, and we'll wait and see what's. You rejoin us here at the recreation ground, where it seems to be we're about to get back underway. Both sides had took refuge within the changing rooms. The medical staff are making their way back over from the popular side where the incident had happened. We're not having any warm-ups. Referee Adam Williams ruling that both sides haven't had sufficient time away with that, and we're back underway, and the Raiders will fetch the ball forward. Dampier.
Here we go then, just like that. We are back underway. We do hope everyone is okay that was involved in that medical emergency over there, but thankfully we are back underway now then, with just over 20 minutes to go until full time here. The scoreline remains Whitehaven 0, Barrow 24. And it's Barrow still in possession, moving it towards that far left hand side once again, just moving past the 40 metre mark now, where the tackle has been completed. I'm not too sure where we were in the tackle count, but we'll find out shortly when Mr. Williams puts his hand up in the air to indicate fifth and last. Raiders just moving past the 30 metre mark, looking to set up over on this far right hand side, opted to go down the short side instead with Ellis Robson. Robson is tackled on the 20. Now the referee indicates it's fifth and last. Ball comes to the middle, long sweeping pass out to King. King out the back to Walker. Walker's dinged that one over the top. Curtis Tier trying to get under that one. It's bobbling around. Bullman couldn't quite keep the ball in play. It's going to trickle out a touch.
I think this could be Raiders' ball here. I think that last come off the hands of Jay Weatherall. It is going to be Raiders' ball. They're going to have scrum down, head and feed. 10 metres out. He was challenged for it, wasn't he? It was Jay Weatherall alongside. I think it was Curtis Tier that was going up in the air with him. And it is, well, it's going to be a play the ball, but it will be a Raiders play the ball. 10 metres out, Dampen.
Well, they've been in this position a few times now in this second half, and they've gone over twice already. Will we see a third try from a similar position? As Raiders now play this ball right in front of the post, moving it out towards this left hand side where Cresswell takes possession, dummies out to the left, cuts back in towards the middle slightly, but the tackle is now complete. Raiders still just a few metres from that Whitehaven line, looking for their third of this half, the fifth overall, as the ball now comes out, running once again towards the left hand side there, eventually dropped in a pile of mud. Some big numbers on this far right side now. They can just shift the ball across. They are going to do that as Brad Walker finds Bullman, but Whitehaven defenders have managed to shuffle across quickly there and stop that attack dead in its tracks. Andy Bullman then, on his return to the team this afternoon, hasn't featured since that Workington game. Raiders heading towards the corner, and they're going to be in. They're going down the short side, round the outside of the markers, right into the right hand corner. Manny Costello, it is once again with his second of the afternoon. That's a fifth try for the Raiders. 28 points to 0.
Yeah, defensively that's real poor on Whitehaven's part. I mean, normally once the ball's gone, that's when you can take off and follow it across the field. On this occasion, it was just a simple dummy, and he had no problem and then just putting the ball down over the line. So, as I say, that just sums Whitehaven's game up there today. I mean, they've been poor with the ball, they've been poor without the ball, and don't get me wrong, Barrow are a good team, a very good team, but really, even sort of amateurs, you'd be very disappointed if a try being given away like that.
I was just about to say, Pete, if you'd seen someone like that up on the pit on the welfare in the early stages of the season, you wouldn't be too happy, would you? I
wouldn't have thought so, but as I say, you've got to make your opposition fight for your tries or fight for whatever they're going to get. Your work as one line. On this occasion, he's just been spooked. He's went to the open side, and the Barrow lad just jumped down the blind side, and it'll never get an easy try.
So Brad Walker then looking to make it 5 from 5 this afternoon from this far right touch line. He's kicked it across. It looks like it's a good angle. He's done extremely well once again there, Brad Walker. It's another 2 points on the board. Raiders hit 30. It's Whitehaven 0, Barrow Raiders 30, and that takes their tally now to 108 points scored in their opening 3 championship fixtures. Just the 1 try conceded. It's not a bad record for the Raiders so far, is it?
It isn't, and I think that it shows where the Raiders are compared to the other Cumbrian clubs, that they're now 70-0 in an hour, across 2 and 3, a game and 3 quarters, across 140 minutes of rugby league. It's essentially to point every 2 minutes in them 2 games.
Deep kick off then, taken by Luke Cresswell, who pops that one off as Barrow charging towards the 20-metre mark. It's a good opening drive of this set. T. Ritson trying to wiggle his way through. Almost another 10 metres made that time. Whitehaven 0, Barrow 30. West versus South. In terms of Cumbrian fixtures, I know it's early days in the fixtures, but 70 points to 0 against the 2 Cumbrian neighbours with minutes still to go. People will start taking Barrow very seriously very soon in this campaign. Big test up next though. Sheffield away from home. Always a tricky place to go. That will really test Falcreri and his men. But so far, so good. Penalty conceded, so the ball is kicked out into touch just past the halfway mark. There's going to be another opportunity now then for the Raiders to go and find their 6th of the afternoon as Ryan King. How much would he love to get on the score sheet against his old team? But he's pushed backward now as Whitehaven have 3 in the defence there. Play the ball. Doolan looks at his options, goes towards his left side.
Where's signal referee Adam Williams?
As Greg Richards then takes the tackle. Moving up towards the 30-metre mark now then with Walker. Juggernauts his way through. As once again Doolan with ball in hand runs at the markers, trying to wiggle his way around them. Can't find a way that time, so Raiders still in the middle of the pack. Around about the 20-metre mark, leading this game by 30 points to 0. Shifting this one out towards the left-hand side. It's a great ball. Raiders in acres of space. Can they get the way? Can they find a line? Stretching towards the line. The referee takes a look. Held up there. Great defence by Whitehaven. That was a great line. I think it was Ellis Robson, on that far left-hand side there.
Your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, I think it looks like as he's made the step away from the try line there, it certainly looked like Ellis Robson. There was a Raiders man on his right-hand side who was calling, screaming for the ball, and he went himself, did Ellis Robson. Initially looked like he made the wrong decision, then it looked like the right decision, but just held up short. Well, held up over the line.
So play continues now then with Richards. Raiders still within 10, 30 points to 0 up. Once again going down that left-hand side. Cresswell, he steps around one, he tries to get the offload away to Ritson. Couldn't quite get the angles right on the offload. Good attempt though. It's going to go dead. It's going to remain Whitehaven 0, Raiders 30.
That'd have been a good pass if it was 30 metres out.
Yeah.
I joke.
Wasn't too far away.
The Raiders just look to be dominating out there. The second half have been completely dominating.
Yeah, the 2 half-backs are really running the show. And, Whitehaven haven't got any answers to this. I mean, they're making good yards, with the ball, taking it forward, they're crossing the halfway line from the kicks, and Whitehaven's struggling to get out their own half.
Dave Eccleston's going to be the man to look and to try and help his side forward. He's made a few metres there, surely a second effort as Whitehaven screamed for a penalty, but it's coming forward now with Kieran Walker. Brad Brennan getting ready to come back on to our right hand side. Holgate in there at dummy half and finds Mark Shackley. I wonder if it's going to be the end of Mark Shackley's afternoon, is it? Is that going to be his last sort of foray? But the ball has been lost, and then it's going to be
knock on.
Yeah, knock on. Mark Shackley's yet again saying that's been ripped.
Once again, I want to shout out Matty Costello this afternoon. He started the first half in the second rows. It looks like he's been moved into the forwards.
Once Jared Stacker's come on, I think that change was made.
He's got 2 tries to boot, and that's the second time this afternoon that he's helped the ball come loose in the tackle. He's been really aggressive in defence this afternoon, and he's done really well as the former Salford man.
Well, that's the difference, Dan, between Barrow and Whitehaven today. I mean, really, that Whitehaven's give too much ball up, and Barrow have capitalised on this occasion, and they've just been the better team.
So Raiders now from that scrum moving out towards this left hand side where T. Ritson, he's been desperate to get ball in hand all afternoon, but Whitehaven not letting him get a sniff. He's eventually taken down just off the 20 metre mark now. There's Johnston puts this one back in towards the middle, where Josh Wood is now going to come onto the field for Aidan Doolan. What a swap of hookers that is, isn't it? Josh Wood, Aidan Doolan. It's strength in depth, I think, is a big key to this Raiders team this season. That goes to show there as well. As now Josh Wood is going to take this ball. He's going to move it back towards this right-hand side where Ryan Johnson steps, looking towards that hat-trick. He's now got a few metres to go. Tackled right in front of the posts as Raiders shift towards this left-hand side this time. We've got almost 70 minutes played on the clock. Barrow still looking for yet another try. 67 minutes. There it is, Jordan. Jordan just tried to indicate. He was dancing in front of me. He didn't know what he was doing then. Jordan, be professional. Come on.
Says you.
So, ball is going to be played on the 10-metre mark. Well, when you can find out where the mark is, that is. So,
that mark went a long time ago.
It's a kick towards that left-hand corner from Johnston. It's bobbing around. T. Ritson's going to slide in. Can't quite make it.
Whitehaven aren't happy with Adam Williams out there, and not all of Whitehaven's issues that Adam Williams is making this afternoon. Far from it. But Joshua Wood went down there. There was a little fumble, and the call for his straight away, and he's just waving 5 and last. I think there's one or two decisions we've remarked as wrong, and like you said, while there isn't, there certainly aren't the issues for Whitehaven this afternoon. It's just helped. It's frustrated them a little bit, Pete.
Well, again, there's an old saying where the referee's he's never dropped any balls. I mean,
there it is.
Just right on cue there. He's Curtis Teed.
Then the pin. I thought he was going to give a penalty here for offside.
Yeah.
No, accidental offside, Whitehaven penalty. I thought he'd pinned Whitehaven for offside there. But he's pinned it. Curtis Tees knocked it on, then there's a Barrow Raiders man in front of him that's picked it up. Accidental offside, as we would call it. Cole Walker-Taylor puts the ball into touch. He's made sure that's found touch, but he's only found 10 metres on that occasion. As Cole Walker-Taylor. So it means Ethan Bickerdike will take the tap. Kieran Walker, ball in hand, into the hands then of Jake Pearson. We're so used to grandstand finishes in these Cumbrian derbies in the last sort of few seasons, Dan. This one's just sort of petering out as we into the sort of final 11 minutes, just enter the 69th minute here at the recreation ground. Nixon plays the ball into the hands of Kieran Walker. Walker runs it across the line. He'll go and go out the back searching for Jack Newbegin. Then finds Cole Walker-Taylor. They've got a little overlap there if they can use it, but Raiders recover sufficiently, and it's Mitchell Todd on that far side, the man that's going to be taken down. 3-4 metres maybe short of halfway. Whitehaven looking to bring back towards the middle. Finds Newbegin in. He had to wait for it there, did Jack Newbegin, so he's done well actually to get to the halfway line there as the Whitehaven half-back. Holgate in there at dummy half, comes left now into the hands of Pierce, then goes out the back to Walker. He looks over the top searching for Jay Weatherall, and then looks to get the kick in against Andy Bowman, and then it should be a penalty here. Yeah, Andy Bowman tried to stop Jay Weatherall. That's just, we've seen them one or two silly things. You're 13 up, you don't really need to be doing that. You've got Luke Cresswell at home, who was one of the safest fullbacks in the championship. You don't need to be doing that to give your opposition another set.
Well, even when the ball was put over here, there was a floated ball come over, and Barrow's got time to readjust the defence and map off and sort them out. I mean, they'll pride themselves on the defence, and they'll be at it for these last 10 minutes.
So Jake Pearce is now the man to take Whitehaven forward. This will be the third tackle when he's brought down, but he's done well there as Jake Pearce. Whitehaven's best opportunity for a long time as Holgate goes left into the hands then of Ellis Nixon. He'll try and spin out the tackle with the former Seaton man. But it's the Barrow rounds we can hear, and it's been lost there, has it? But it's a penalty once again for Whitehaven. So that's third penalty in as many sets. And then they've been pinned for offside or not square, not the best signal from referee Adam Williams. Whitehaven won't care, they get a fresh set of 6, and Jake Pearce is the man to try and take the ball forward on the first tackle. Brought down a metre and a half maximum away from the try line. Comes right into the hands of Brad Brennan. Can he get his way over? He can't, he's lost it as well. So effective that has been for Whitehaven last season, just this season so far, nowhere near effective. They've tried it time and time again of Whitehaven with Brad Brennan. And it's scrum down, head and feet to the Raiders. They survive once more.
Yeah, I think Whitehaven, they've tried the move with Brad Brennan a few times, and all the other clubs will be wise to it now. So really, they're just looking at Brad Brennan. Next time, it should be dummy him and then move it out wide. But as I say, on this occasion, it's all been singularly most of the day with Whitehaven just poor, and Barra's battered them into submission.
Scrum down now then for the Raiders, right in front of the post. Again, T. Ritson takes that one, angles his run sideways. Can T. Ritson find a space? He almost found some space, but he was clobbered in the tackle at the very last second there. He's made it up towards the 20-metre mark now then as Broadbent. He's going to have a go at this Whitehaven defence. Still, Whitehaven 0, Barrow Raiders 30. We're into the final 10 minutes of this game now. We've gone past the 6-7 mark, Jordan.
Joe Bullock getting ready to come back on for the Raiders down below us, Dan.
He sure is. It looks like that. his shirt just looks like it's been dried out slightly. Matty Costello now then tries to find a way through. Eventually taking that tackle on the 40-metre mark as Josh Wood. Out towards Walker. Walker dummies. Moves back into the other direction. Looks for the offload once, twice. The ball has come loose. It's been collected by Brad Brennan. And Whitehaven get possession back. Massive tackle made on Brennan. Ball has come loose. Whitehaven continue.
Yeah, it was the offload that he's been searching for all afternoon. He got it on that occasion and found Connor Holliday was taken down 40 metres away from the Raiders line. It's now Mitchell Todd will try and take his side forward. The message from Paul Crary now surely is this all stays. We keep this 0. New begging now with ball in hand. It comes across the line and into the hands of Jack Kellett, but it's hit the floor. Whitehaven just far their own worst enemy with ball in hand this afternoon, and now Andrew Bowman will look to take it forward and he'll get himself to halfway line with the former Whitehaven man.
Yeah, Cresta prides himself on his defensive duties. It's one part of his coaching methods that he's always brought into the game, so he will definitely be wanting the 0 more than the points scored for this Raiders team today as Barrow move inside the Whitehaven half now with just over 6 minutes to go until the full-time hooter. It's going to be King that's dropped on the 40-metre mark inside the Whitehaven half as Josh Wood goes towards this right-hand side with Walker, who pops this one off to Curtis Tier. Try scorer in the opening minute of this fixture. Hasn't really been too involved since. It's been a game for the forwards though.
I was just about to say he hasn't needed to do.
No. Bullock now then spreads this play out towards this left-hand side, and eventually it's going to fall into the hands of Broadbent. Broadbent changes direction, gets this one back into Bullock. Bullock quick hands out to Brad Walker, who just walked into a wall of, I will say, white shirts.
They're not.
Could be his own teammates. It's that bad at the minute. Johnson then gets someone off to Costello. Costello's found Tia. Tia's found the space. Back on the inside in the last second, right before the try was about to be awarded. Luke Cresswell, the ball spills out of his fingertips. He was looking to move on to 6 for the season. One pass too many.
Yeah, they just seem to be breaking Whitehaven at will now, and it looks a bit sad really out there. But both teams have given it their all, and and Barra's been the team that's come out on top, defensively and attacking wise. So I wouldn't thought that the Whitehaven lads would be wanting the hooter to go anytime soon.
Scrum down, head and feet to Whitehaven. They'll fetch the ball forward with Mitchell Todd. Just under 5 minutes to go as we make it, as we enter the 76th minute here at the recreation ground. Goes into the hands now of Dave Eccleston. Whitehaven looking to take it down what was a short right hand side near the popular side here. Is it going to be? It's going to be another penalty. That's something that I think Paul Crary will be unhappy with, Pete. His side has conceded 11 penalties in this game, in a game, let's be honest, they haven't been tested that much.
That's right. I mean, the defence, I'm not saying, the penalties given away, I mean, and that's one of the things you look at, because you're going to give your opposition a bit of ball, but when Whitehaven's had the ball, they've been guilty of not looking after it, so it's compounding both of them.
Brad Brennan will play the ball. Holgate's in there at dummy half. He'll take Whitehaven over the Raiders 40. I think just 32 metres or so away. It's into the hands now of Jake Pearson. Pearce scooted, is it, from dummy half? He's trying to get the arm free. Gets the ball away into the hands then of Ellis Nixon. Looks to put the kick in. Whoa!
Now,
wow!
I think he was committed to that tackle before the kick was made.
Yeah, I think it's just bordered on penalty only for me, Pete.
Yeah, it was. It looked a bit worse than what it was there, really, and there's no injuries came by, so Barrow will be defending their last set, and Crest will be sending the message down there to keep them out, because they'll want that 0.
3.5 to go as we make it. Whitehaven once again attacking the Raiders line. Can they get something late on like they did against Newcastle a fortnight ago? play the ball. Holgate in there, dummy half into the hands of the Jack Kellett. I can only tell it's Jack Kellett because that bobble on the top of his head, but he's a fantastic tackle. Is it from Josh Wood and Joe Bullock? Looking to cut the kick through there. Is Holgate. Can the Whitehaven man dive on it? He can't. There's a Raiders man who's dived back. Looks to be easy. Ellis Robson that was recovering and trying to get something a bit sneaky there, did Ellison Holgate. The Raiders caught it just and they forced a goal line drop out of Whitehaven.
Sorry, go on, Pete.
Sorry, Dan. I mean, it was a good kick from Ellison Holgate from that half-back, but really, as I said before, that's been what it has been. They've just been doing stuff singularly all day. I mean, Brad Brennan was running down the thing, and Ellison Holgate's dropping a kick-off in there. There should be a chasing team to get on the back of that.
Goal line drop out comes and Brad Brennan's the man to fetch it forward. Gradually cracking goal line drop out in the conditions and a cracking first tackle from the Raiders, but it's Whitehaven and I'll fetch it forward. Mitchell Todd coming in off the wing. I honestly, it sounds like we're at Craven Park here at the moment. The Raiders contingent making the noise in that Kells end. Holgate will come left into the hands of Kellett. Now finds Walker. Walker looks to put the kick in behind and it's going to have to be dealt with. Bowman dived on it. Cresswell tried to kick it. Bowman has collected it but been forced behind the try line, and another goal line drop out forced by Whitehaven.
Cresswell might have hurt himself there. Let's hope he can just shake that one off. He did go to boot the ball dead.
I'm not surprised. Andrew Bowman just took him out.
Yeah, a good set again from White, but it's too little, too late. I mean, they're threatening the line there now, and really, I think all it's going to be is just to score, just to get some points on the board. That's what it is.
Cresswell does not look comfortable one bit.
Brad Brennan once again fetching it forward. There's 4 defenders involved there for the Raiders, and he's still nearly found his front there, did Brad Brennan. Into the final 90 seconds or so as we make it. He gets up, he plays the ball. Surely offside. Yeah, penalty. And what's that? That's the 13th penalty the Raiders have conceded. In contrast, Whitehaven have only conceded 4, all of which come in the second half. We're into the final minute as we make it. Can Whitehaven get some points on the board, or will the Raiders keep their oar? It's into the hands now of Jake Pearce, and Pearce is going to try and spin out of that tackle. 3-4 metres out. Holgate in there, into the hands now of Kellett. Then comes into the hands of Kieran Walker. Just slowed it down a little bit there, did Whitehaven, and it's cost Kieran Walker as he's now being wrapped up 12 metres or so away, just to the left hand side of the post. Back into the middle now with Jack Kellett. Kellett's been taken down. Holgate dives out of dummy half, trying to escape the clutches of the Barrow defence, trying to get the ball backwards, and he does. It's collected by Jack Kellett. Consecutive carries. It's ended up being for Jack Kellett. Into the final 20 seconds as we make it. Goes right now into the hands of Connor Holliday. Fantastic Raiders defence in these final seconds. They want to keep this 0. It's the 5 and last. Comes into the hands of Kellett, and Kellett's going to have to try and escape some Raiders defence. Throws a wild offload, and it's going to be collected. Is it by Ritson on that side? It's actually collected by a Barrow man. Can't tell who it is, but the Raiders won't care. They'll fetch that ball forward.
He's feeling it's going to go through the motions now and see this one out. We're up to the 80-minute mark. It still remains Whitehaven 0, Barrow Raiders 30. There goes the full-time hooter. And it's Derby Day delight for the Barrows. For the Barrow.
Are you okay?
I don't think I am. Derby Day delight for the Barrow Raiders. 5 tries in all this afternoon. 30 points to 0 the scoreline.
Must have been a penalty in there because we're still playing.
I take it back then. We'll continue then. So it's going to go. Are we going to see a wide to West moment? It's going to be kicked over the top to Bullman. It's gone broad to Bullman. It's gone back on the inside to Costello. That was a forward pass. That one was seen that time. It would have been a champagne finish for the Raiders. It's not meant to be. The result still remains the same. The scoreline remains the same. It's finished Whitehaven 0, Barrow Raiders 30. The South come out on top of the West. What an afternoon, Jordan.